At halftime, the Norristown Eagles up on top of the Plymouth-Whitemarsh Colonials, 14-7. I'm Jeff Brandon along with Walt Fry. And of course, folks, this game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District. Our producer and director tonight is Mr. Tony Coya. And while we have a chance, we'd like to thank our camera people this evening, Kim Murphy, Kathy Hutton, and Melissa Parker. Walt, an interesting first half of play. I think if I had to give a general overview, I'd have to say that PW played better, but Norristown came out on top with the big plays.
Well, the first quarter was back and forth. It was pretty even. PW did show something on their first drive, but Norristown thwarted it, and not much came of the rest of the first quarter. Then the second quarter, everybody kind of started blowing up. John Ruttman on a 6-yard run capped off a nice drive, and it was a very nice run. He bounced to the outside, avoided a couple tacklers, and Rob Wennick kicked the extra point. That made it 7-0. PW struck right back. They had a 58-yard pass play from quarterback Brad Bell to halfback Dwight Shirley. That was with 6:49 left in this first half. Jeff Mills kicked the extra point, made it 7-7. Then on the ensuing kickoff, Mike Carroll with an explosive 85-yard kickoff return. Rob Wennick was good on the extra point. That made it 14-7. And that big play, I'd say, really hurt PW.
Yeah, in closing the first half, PW got the ball back. It looked like to me with about a minute to go. Might have been a little bit more than that after a couple of exchanges. And they drove down the field nicely, really using the clock well, used their timeouts, used out of bounds to stop the clock. And they got the ball down to about the Eagle 20, completed a pass, and then there was a holding call against the Eagles on top of that, which took it down to about the 7-yard line. 4 seconds to go on the clock. Bell snapped the ball and threw a quick out to the left side, hoping to stop the clock on the incomplete pass. We looked at the clock when the ball struck the ground, and everybody screamed timeout. There was about a second left, but the clock ticked down to 0. The official waved his hand. The half was over, and Joe Iacovetti, head coach at PW, exploded onto the field after the head official, claiming that there should have been a second left to play, and he would have at least had time to bring his field goal squad on to kick 3 points.
Well, it would have been only about a 24-yard field goal, which is just a little over the length of the extra point. So Mills most certainly would have hit the field goal, and that would have brought PW to within 4, and a touchdown would win it for them. Now a touchdown would only tie, and that drive right there really hurt too, that they weren't able to finish that off.
Yeah, I think you're going to read about in the Times Herald tomorrow, Joe Iacovetti exploding about that play if his team comes out on the bottom tonight. It's really great to see Norristown and PW playing. For a while there, when they changed the Suburban 1 League around, it looked like a lot of those rivalries that Norristown was used to playing, Norristown PW, Norristown Methacton, wouldn't be anymore. And it's great that these two teams have played the last several years and resumed that rivalry, because PW always fields a great squad. And as I said, I know everybody was impressed with the way they stuck it to Abington last week, 20-0. Really shocked Abington. But Norristown, as we mentioned, 4th-ranked team in the Philadelphia Inquirer poll this week. But of course, the 1st-ranked team in that Inquirer poll, in our division, in our league, the Bucks of Central Bucks West, and we'll meet them later on this year.
And unfortunately, we won't be able to bring you that game because Norristown does play up at CV West. I'm sure you can get tickets through the Norristown Athletic Office, and it'd be a tremendous game to watch. But right now, we're almost ready for the second half. Jeff Mills will kick it off for PW. Back deep, Mike Carroll and John Ruttman. Little squib kick by Mills, picked up by the short man, number 3, Priest Ramsey. Ramsey pops it to the outside. He's got blockers in front. Ramsey is dragged down by 35, Dwight Shirley. And that strategy certainly did not pay off for Plymouth-Whitemarsh to open the second half.
Boy, I'll tell you, this has been such a game of big plays for the Eagles. Norristown must have, I'd say, a good 200 and some yards on the ground already, simply by virtue of their great kickback returns. Incredible the way their backs and their deep men on kickoffs can explode. So the Eagles with a golden opportunity here to begin the second half, setting up at the 27-yard line of the Colonials. Only 10 seconds here into this third quarter. Sessa sets. He's going to roll to his left. Throws across his body. Oh, he had 2 men open. Touchdown, Norristown. What a play for the Eagles. Number 42, John Ruttman, stole that ball away from one of his teammates, raced into the end zone for the touchdown.
And once again, we'll bring up the name again. Marcus Smith with an incredible block. Gave Sessa all the time that he needed to complete that pass. Smith, we've seen him grind out a lot of tough yards, but an excellent, excellent blocker.
I thought the pass was going to Priest Ramsey, and all of a sudden Ruttman came out of nowhere to pick that ball out of the air. He was cutting across the grain of the defense and just raced into the end zone. What a great play. Boy, I'll tell you, it took the Eagles all of 17 seconds to get on the scoreboard here. Wennick's extra kick is up. It's good, and the Eagles strike quickly here, 21-7. And Walt, if this doesn't pop PW's bubble after the end of that first half, what happened to them there, now the Eagles taking 17 seconds to put 7 more points on the board. It's going to be a tough road to come back for PW. I'll tell you, folks, nobody who's here tonight can say this is a dull ball game. We've seen some exciting football. The run back is probably the most exciting play in the game, and we've seen several great ones here tonight.
Well, on that kickoff by PW to open the second half, if they had gotten into a big, slow man who was up there just to block, it was one thing. But they got it to Priest Ramsey, who is Norristown's wide receiver, and he, of course, can run the ball, too. Now, Wennick, fairly deep kickoff. Taken by Calhoun. Calhoun pops it back outside. And the special teams for either squad leaving a lot of holes tonight. Tackle that time was by number 50, Matrice Sudith.
So PW now with great field position, starting at their own 41-yard line after a fine kick return of their own. Brad Bell sets up at quarterback. He's going to go to the air right away. The quick out, taken nicely for a 6-yard gain. That time the receiver, number 81, Chris Kofer. Rob Wennick in on the stop for Norristown that time. I like that play selection by Joe Iacovetti. He could have gone deep the first time, try and get it all back in one play, that sort of thing. But he went to the nice 6-yard gain, sets up a 2nd down and 4 for his squad. Going to try and get it back a little bit at a time. His team down by 14, 21-7. We're just into the third quarter. Handoff goes to the outside, slips a few tackles, and finally brought down after picking up the first down. Rob Calhoun that time for PW with a fine run up the middle. And he takes the ball into Norristown territory, down to the Eagle 40-yard line, 1st and 10 for PW. We've got a timeout on the field, officials' time. So with 10:17 to play, there's has been a second of boredom here in this second half. Bell with the play action pass, goes deep down the middle, nobody there that time. That time Kofer split to the outside and Bell was waiting for him to cut down the middle. Little miscommunication there. Pass goes incomplete. Second down and 10.
Just looked like a little bit of miscommunication there, but Dave Williamson had good coverage, but Bell was looking for Kofor to go down the middle, and he just stayed sideline route.
So that brings up second down and 10 for the Colonials from the Eagle 40. Man in motion is Intreri. They go to the screen pass, nicely set up. There's a clip, no call, there it is. Okay, and the Eagle defender that time. Looked like number 27 for Norristown, Dave Williamson. Finally knocked the receiver out of bounds, and they picked up about 11 yards on the play, but I'm sure it's going to come back for clipping. I think everybody in the stand saw that one. Yeah, just as I was about to say no flags, I saw about 3 yellow handkerchiefs go up in the air, and that's what the call is, clipping. So instead of first and 10 from the Eagle 30, we'll move the ball back across into PW territory, 15 yards from the point of the clip. It'll be second down and 25. I'll make it second down and 23.
Where'd you get that?
From the Norristown 43. Bell rolls right, got a man open. Kofor with the reception. He's going to pick up about 9 yards on the play, but the momentum of his body pulled him down that time. Had to position himself to catch that ball, and it just fell to the ground.
Kofor's really showing some excellent skill. Most of Bell's passes tonight have not been right on the money, but Kofor's pulled in most of them, and Bell to Kofor was their PW's main weapon in their 21-0 defeat of Abington.
Intreri in motion. We don't even get that one off. Motion on the line. Let's see who they call it against. I saw a couple Eagles bounce up and down, but might have been on, no, that's who it was, offsides Norristown. So that'll give PW 5 yards back there. So instead of 3rd and 13, it'll be 3rd and 8.
And you can be pretty sure of one thing: whoever wins this game, the coaches will not be happy with all these penalties. Both teams very, very tough, but each of them, to win in their respective divisions, have to cut down on the penalties. They cannot give the teams that they play anything.
I have to agree with that. There's the option. Late pitch, bobbled. Norristown ball on the fumble. They recover at their own 35-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 Norristown with 8:23 to play in the 3rd quarter. Marcus Smith fell on that ball. Heads-up play by Smith. At that time, Bell, bad play on the option to his left. Waited too long, bad pitch, and there was really no chance for the back to pick that ball up. He tried to fall on it, but it squirted out from under him, and Smith was right there to pounce on it, along with 2 of his Eagle teammates.
Well, the pitch was right at his feet, and on the dead run, the halfback there just kicked it. And Smith right there, pick it up.
So the Eagles once again thwart a Colonial drive with a mental mistake on the part of their opponents. Man in motion. They go the other way to Carroll. Carroll gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. The officials blow that ball dead. In on the tackle, number 74, Rob Roseborough. Roseborough broke through the line that time. No place for Carroll to go.
That's really one of the few times that we've seen any PW penetration into the Norristown backfield. That Norristown offensive line really doing a good job despite the penalties, but opening a lot of holes cleanly.
Second down and 12. Sessa being pursued. Priest Ramsey there, no catch. That time Sessa was about a half a second from being sacked. Let the ball go. Pass was a little weak. Ramsey couldn't come back for it. James Intrari on the coverage. .7:03 to play in the third quarter. Once again, Norristown up 21-7 in this ball game. They have the ball, 3rd and 12. Oh boy, Sessa gets ripped down in the backfield. Ball's loose, but it was dead. Sessa down in the backfield. Another loss of about a yard on the play. We'll call it 4th down and 13 from their own 33-yard line. So 3 and punt this time for Norristown. No action at all.
Sessa that time, even though he got no yardage, a smart play. Looked to pitch, but his running back there would just covered too much to pitch the ball to him. Would have possibly resulted in a fumble or a loss of yardage. So Sessa just decided to keep it, and now Norristown will punt it away with a comfortable lead.
And the Eagles struck quickly here in this second half. If you missed it, they ran the opening kickoff. Good rush. Ramsey gets the punt off. It's taken at the 41-yard line. Fumble, and the ball's recovered by Norristown. That time, number 37 for Plymouth-Whitemarsh bobbled the ball. Robert Calhoun, and it was recovered by Norristown. Walt, did you catch the number for the Eagles?
I'm not sure.
Might have been Mike Carroll or John Ruttman. Both of them were, it looked like there was a 2 on the back of that jersey. I'm sorry we didn't catch the number for you, but it was a fine play by the Eagles to cover that punt. So another mental mistake for the Colonials. Incredible. Well, it's better than a big first down play. You punt the ball and get it back in your opponent's territory. First down from the Colonial 38-yard line. Ruttman in motion, coming right into the camera. The handoff goes up the middle. 6 yards on the play. Marcus Smith that time dragged half the Colonial defensive line with him.
I didn't even have to look at this sheet. I could just tell by the number of PW defensive players moving backwards that was Marcus Smith running the ball. But back to that punt. Calhoun judged that very badly. He overran it, and then he tried to turn and catch it over his shoulder with his hands instead of with the body, as you should catch a punt. And Norristown special teams all over to recover.
2nd down and 5. Sessa, straight drop. Goes long. That's overthrown. Out of bounds. Priest Ramsey, the intended receiver, on the coverage was Calhoun. Well, I hate to see the Eagles squander this opportunity. It'd be nice to put another 7 or at least 3 on the board. Make this game really tough for the Colonials. Third and 5. Sesse's got a man behind him. The late pitch. Halfback option. They go deep. Priest Ramsey all alone. Touchdown, Norristown. Oh, boy, what a play. That was Wayne Smith with that 40-yard pass. Pardon me, correction, Steve de Blasio with that 40-yard pass. Sorry about that, Steve. Sessa with the last-second pitch to de Blasio. De Blasio to Priest Ramsey all alone for the score. 27-7 Eagles.
Well, de Blasio, now a junior, was a quarterback in his freshman and sophomore years for those respective teams, and showed a very good arm, and Ramsey wide open. Winnick this time shanked the kick. Missed it left. So Norristown will have to settle for 27-7.
I see we've revived the Norristown tradition of throwing out the toy footballs when the Eagles score a touchdown. They stopped that for a couple of years. Now it looks like they've got another sponsor again. Used to be the Times-Herald. I'm not sure who it is now. And somebody just threw one back.
That's exactly why they stopped it. But judging by this Norristown offense, it may be stopped soon eventually because it just may get too expensive.
They may run out of balls by the fourth game. Well, I'll tell you, this Eagles team can put some points on the board. That was a beautiful play. 3rd and 5. And Sessa, last second pitch, beautiful pitch to de Blasio. De Blasio took his time and just laid it up there. Soft as a feather for Priest Ramsey, who was just by himself.
Okay, so back deep, Shirley and Calhoun. Calhoun takes the kick. Calhoun pops it around the outside. Knocked out of bounds by kicker Rob Wennick. Nothing unusual for Wennick, of course. He's also the safety. But a good run back by Calhoun. Started going to his right. Norristown special teams followed him. Calhoun just cut it back left. Had a wall of blockers, and Wennick finally got to him. So PW will start at their own 38. A lot of catch up to do. 27-7 Norristown. Bell quickly out to the sideline. In and out of the hands of number 4, Dwayne Smith.
I hate to say a ball game's over, but the way Norristown has exploded in this ball game in the last 2 quarters, there's no way PW is going to come back in this ball game unless Norristown breaks down totally on defense. Even if they play a splendid offensive game, it's going to be incredibly difficult to come back. Bell goes up top again. This time Kofor couldn't bring it down.
Gave it a pump fake to give Kofor time. Kofor stopped, and Bell just overthrew him once again.
Nice coverage again that time by Smith.
We have a holding against PW. Umpire will walk that off.
I don't remember the last time I saw a game with so many delays and stoppages. This game is not flowing smoothly time-wise with all the penalties we've had.
And once again, only the second game for both teams. Both of them 0-1, or excuse me, 1-0 with impressive victories. PW now pushed back to their own 25. 2nd and 22. Shirley around the end. Found the hole. Ran right through it and was brought down by Steve de Blasio. Marcus Smith there also on the stop.
Third down and 12 for PW. And I guess we'll see him go to the air again. My bet is Kofor by the sidelines.
And that's exactly where he's coming out to. Wennick will be on him one-on-one. Bell across the middle to Kofor. Norristown defense does a good job of stopping him short of the first down.
Not bad, right guy, wrong place. They had him cut across the middle that time.
PW short of the first down by 3 yards. With 3:15 left to go in the third quarter, they really have no choice but to go for it, down 20 points. Bell rolls right, tries to run for it. No go there. Norristown defense right there. Dwayne Smith and Mike Evans in on the stop. So Norristown will take over on downs in PW territory. Trying to add to their impressive 27-7 lead. Priest Ramsey out wide. Mike Carroll in the slot. Marcus Smith and John Rutman behind Sessa in the I formation. Sessa turns, pitches to Rutman. Rutman finds the hole.
You can see the PW defenders going for the ball now, trying to strip Rutman on that last play where at least two of the three PW defenders who converged on him. They're looking for the big play right now, pop the ball loose and run for a touchdown. I can never remember the differences. You can advance a football in high school, a fumble in high school, can't you? I can never remember which league can and which league can't.
I believe you can. So Rutman gained no yards on that. It's 2nd and 10. Turns, fakes the pitch, goes up the middle to Marcus Smith. Smith drags 230 pounds of Paul Davis with him.
I think you're going to see Norristown stick to the ground pretty exclusively here for the rest of this ball game. Coach Grove wants to eat up the clock, and that's what he's doing on this series. Great field position again for his team as the Colonials turn the ball over on downs. And they have 3rd and 5 now from the PW 41-yard line.
I mentioned before that Sean Smith was at center. Well, it's an error in our program. Dave Latanzi has been playing center for Norristown the whole game. Norristown calls timeout. That's their first, with 1:14 left in the 3rd quarter.
And I bet if Dave's parents are watching, they knew it all along.
Well, we talked about Norristown's tremendous running backs and that they always have great running backs. But another thing that they always have is different types of running backs, versatile running backs. You have Mike Carroll, who's very, very fast and strong. John Rutman, who is small but incredibly quick and also very strong. And Marcus Smith, who I'm not sure how fast he is, but can just drag people anywhere he goes.
Tell you what, let's slide this further down. You guys have all those differences, right? The audience is going to fall asleep on that.
Okay, so 3rd and 5 at the PW 41 for Norristown. Mike Carroll in motion. Sessa drops, rolls left, throws across the middle. Intended receiver, Priest Ramsey. Almost intercepted by number 29, Doug Avery of PW.
So on 4th down, Ramsey will do the punting chores here. Last time PW had a good rush. Of course, Calhoun fumbled the return. He's back there again this time.
And PW looks like they're going for the ball again. Calhoun, the only man deep for PW. They do come with the rush. Partially blocked. Yes, it is. Doug Avery comes down. Looks like about the line of scrimmage where Norristown was. I'm not sure who got in to block that kick.
I'm not either, Walt. I couldn't catch the number, but somebody got a hand on it. And as you said, brought the ball down right at the line of scrimmage, the 41-yard line of the Colonials. It's a nice play.
Looked like it could have possibly been number 51, Chris Carbo. But either way, a tremendous rush. Ramsey just didn't have the time. Not totally smothered, but blocked enough to give PW good field position. And Treary comes in motion. Bell drops straight back. He's going long to Kofer on the sideline. He's got him. At about the Norristown 33, knocked out of bounds by number 27, Dave Williamson. And Bell showing a strong arm that time. Hang the ball on a line there to Kofer, who reeled it in. Knocked out of bounds by Williamson.
Still 37 seconds to play in this third quarter. The Eagles up 27-7. Colonials are going to need 3 touchdowns to come back and win this ball game, providing they hold Norristown for the remainder of the game. Could be a tough task, not impossible, but we'll see if they can put it in quickly here.
And that's Calhoun. A little misdirection around the right side.
That time it looked like Mike Carroll and number 77.
77 is Chad Ocknick, the nose guard. Both of them in on the stop. One yard on the play. PW with a 2nd and 9. Clock winding down. 1 second. They get off before the quarter ends. Out to Kofer. Wrapped up by Wennick. Wennick showing some sure tackling tonight, but the pass is complete. That'll end the third quarter with Norristown up 27-7. And while we have this break here, in case any of you haven't heard or read about it, PW, knowing that there were a lot of Norristown players watching the PW Abington game last week, came out on the field chanting, "We want Norristown."